Shalom, my friends. Welcome to this week's newscast. It was reported last week that the Clintons have been selling uranium to Russia and Iran. Russia and Iran. How interesting. Ezekiel 38 is a prophecy which speaks of Russia and Iran attacking Israel when Israel is at peace. But let's not forget, my friends, that only 15 or 20 years ago, the idea of Russia and Iran having anything at all to do with each other was absolutely unimaginable. And for the past 20 years or so, they've been acting like two peas in a pod, fulfilling Bible prophecy. Russia and Iran made a mutual defense agreement with each other in 1993, a shocking and very prophetic event. Also, interestingly enough, in Ezekiel 38, Saudi Arabia is against the prophesied coalition against Israel. And today we find Saudi Arabia is with Israel and against Iran. It's just so very amazing to me how we can look at certain points like these in Bible prophecy, and for centuries, such points can seem to be so utterly inconceivable that everyone will say they must be symbolic, not literal. And many have done just that for centuries, only to find out later that the Father's word is always spot on target, faithful and true, no matter what anyone may ever think. Bible prophecy these days, my friends, is being mirrored in today's news and events like never before. If you want the details of Ezekiel's prophecy and more, use the search tool on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/WatchAllen, and just type Ezekiel. Then click on the Psalm 83 war and the Ezekiel 38 and 39 Magog war. And you can see my work on that. Shmuel Bar, a senior research fellow at the Samuel Naaman Institute for National Policy Research at the Technicon, was quoted last week advising us, saying, quote, "The ideology of Islamic State and the Caliphate are a watershed event," he said. "No previous Islamic regime, no matter how radical, dared declare itself a caliphate. The very paradigm of the caliphate implies that there is only one form of Islam, and the caliphate must purge the abode of Islam from all others, Shiites, Alawites, and subjugate all other religious communities, Christians and Jews, or eliminate them." Still quoting, "This chaos is now irreversible. Therefore, Israel and the West must be prepared to live through the age of chaos in the Middle East for at least a decade." Close quote. Turning to wars and rumors of wars, on Monday, April 20th, the aircraft carrier Theodore Roosevelt and the guided missile cruiser Normandy sailed to the waters off Yemen to join 10 other American warships as a warning to Iran about its shipments of weapons to rebels there. Then on Tuesday, April 21st, Iran's Ayatollahs are now rebuilding their relations with Hamas, the Sunni Islamist group that controls Gaza. As I reported last week, Iran's Revolutionary Guards have transferred tens of millions of dollars to Hamas in the past few months to help Hamas rebuild the network of tunnels that were destroyed during the Israeli Defense Forces' response to rocket attacks launched by Hamas militants from Gaza last summer, 2014. The Palestinian brigades are also replenishing their depleted stocks of medium-range missiles. The Revolutionary Guards are eager to revive their relationship with Hamas because it gives them access to Israel's southern border, in addition to the northern border with Lebanon, where Iran funds Hezbollah militants. And Tehran is also willing to set aside its sectarian differences with Sunni Hamas because it shares the same long-term objectives as the Shiite Ayatollahs, and that is to wipe Israel off the map, as prophesied in Psalm 83. I also reported last week about a car that rammed into two Israelis in Jerusalem, and last Tuesday it was confirmed as 37-year-old Khaled Kutina, who confessed to deliberately ramming his car into two Israelis waiting for a bus, killing Shalom Cherki, 25, and seriously wounding Shira Klein. In his interrogation, Kutina admitted he was driving along looking for Jews to harm, and then drove at high speed onto the sidewalk to strike the two Israelis. Then on Wednesday, April 22nd, Israeli aircraft carried out two strikes against Hezbollah, including one on a large weapons convoy headed for the Shiite militia. And on Thursday, April 23rd, after 4 months of quiet, a rocket was fired in the evening from Gaza towards communities in southern Israel. IDF tanks, in retaliation, struck a target in northern Gaza. The target was a militant position in Beit Hanun, where the rocket was fired from. And while Hamas is not believed to have fired the rocket, as a security services source said, quote, "Hamas is the body controlling the area and must see to quiet. Otherwise it will suffer the consequences. We will not accept a state of errant fire." Then on Friday, April 24th, the Iranian news agency Abna reported that Iranian General Hadi Kashbaf was killed on Sunday, April 12th in Daraa. After regime forces and paramilitary allies sought on the following day to attack rebel positions in the Lajat region, rebel groups repulsed the attack, destroying half a dozen tanks and capturing a number of prisoners, mainly Afghan nationals. One source said the Afghan fighters are used mainly as cannon fodder, as they are ordered to lead attacks with little in the way of backup. Further, an anti-regime civilian activist group based in Daraa accused regime forces of executing 26 men, mostly civilians, in the wake of the attack. And also on Friday, a Palestinian near Jerusalem approached a roadblock with a butcher knife and tried to attack policemen there and was promptly shot. Then on Saturday, April 25th, early in the morning hours, Israeli planes struck military targets in Syria. The strikes targeted several bases belonging to Syrian missile brigades near the Syrian-Lebanese border, where long-range missiles and other strategic weaponry were reportedly kept. A Palestinian man pulled out a knife and ran toward a border police patrol near the Cave of the Patriarchs in Hebron, stabbing one policeman in the face and neck. Another border policeman shot the attacker. Then on Saturday night, a Palestinian drove his car into the sidewalk in East Jerusalem, wounding a policewoman and 3 policemen. The driver was later captured. Then on Sunday, April 26th, an Israeli Air Force aircraft struck a militant cell that was trying to place an explosive device on Israel's border with Syria, killing 3 of the 4 militants. 2 months ago, in February, Chinese officials warned a group of Americans that North Korea has many more nuclear warheads than previously believed, up to 20 at present, and perhaps as many as 40 by next year. The North Koreans had no such capability when they signed the 1994 agreed framework with the Clinton administration, which required them to stop their nuclear weapons efforts. And the deal, which the Obama administration is now negotiating with Tehran, looks to be incorporating the very same mistakes. The Iran deal has many more moving parts, making it considerably more difficult to enforce. Iran and North Korea have extensive diplomatic and military ties, with Pyongyang helping supply the Iranians with ballistic missile technology and hosting Iranian scientists at its nuclear test sites. It's very likely that a portion of Pyongyang's growing stockpile may soon come into Iranian hands. And that's the newscast for this week, my friends. Abba willing, I'll see you here again next week. And until then, stay safe. Shalom.
Crowded rooms, I need more space than I consume. Enough is time alone with you, underneath a naked moon, sharing confidential moods and making chatter. Mockingbird nocturnal sings notations of eternal things, entering the quantum breeze, flying not for want of wings. He lights his gaze on you and me, simply because we matter.